Miss me much? Let's do this.
That's what I expected.
What is good, my pack rats? Pac-Man Case here with a video of epic proportions. I was challenged by two fine fellas in the retro video game community. Number one, Zach, Iowa Retro Gamer Dad. Number two, Tom of Retro Obsessed. Both of these guys, fantastic retro channels. They love themselves some video games. Go give them some love on their channels. At this point, I have been challenged to what is going around is what is my top 10 video games of all time. Now, the deal with that is that I already have done this challenge once before. Last year, I did top 10 video games of all time. If you wanna go check that video out, you can do that now. I don't need to regurgitate that back to you guys. So what I thought would be fun is if you're any pro golfer, you're doing 18 holes. That's a front 9 and a back 9. And now, I've already given you my front games. It's time to give you my back games. So here we go. This is my runner-up, if you will. Top 10 games of all time for Pac-Man Case. Let's do it. Game number one, also called Game 11. You'll understand the trend as we go along. That would be Resident Evil Umbrella Chronicles. I am a huge light gun fan. If you guys have been watching the channel for a long time, I absolutely love this type of stuff. The Wii did it in a different direction with the sensor bar, and this takes you back through the original Resident Evil stories. Kick-ass game. I throw this in all the time. I purchase accessories and guns and dumb stuff just so that I can enjoy myself with this game. But Resident Evil Umbrella Chronicles, and they made a sequel, the Dark Side Chronicles, is worth it. Part of my top 10 games of all time, and one that I will continue to throw in for days to come. Next up on my list, this should not be a surprise to anybody. I've talked about this game before, have done videos on it. It would be Devil May Cry. Now, I threw the first one in there. There has been awesome games created. I think Devil May Cry 5 came out recently. This one, though, this started it all for me. It was one of my first games on the PS2. The first time that you get to throw a sucker up and shoot him up in the air with like an uppercut was probably one of the coolest experiences, especially when I was like 12 years old, that I could have had at the time. I remember the music is kick-ass, the combo system is fantastic. It is such a complete game in my eyes, and I have always enjoyed the Devil May Cry series. Dante, like, half demon lord that is just there to protect the earth. I mean, the story's been written 100 times before, but they just did it so well. So thank you, Capcom, for a badass game and one I will always love in my top 10. Let's keep going. All right, up next would be one of my favorite racing games of all time, and Wes over at Gaming Off the Grid stole it because these guys play this all the time, and I understand you guys are the Burnout guys, but you know what? I was an OG Burnout fan probably before Wes was wearing diapers, you know what I'm saying? And that doesn't make sense because I meant to say when Wes was wearing diapers, because if it was before that, then he was just a baby, and that doesn't really make sense because when you're trying to give a diss to somebody, back to the game. If there is any racing game I've ever fell in love with so quick, it would be the Burnout series, and specifically Burnout 3 for something called the Crash Mode. And oh my god, if you guys ever want to see this game and you don't have time to play it, literally go check out Gaming Off the Grid's channel on a Sunday. They'll probably throw this game on and show you guys why it is so fun. The Burnout series has always been a huge staple. I think the latest one that was released was Burnout Paradise, so it's been a while, but Burnout 3 Takedown took it to another level. No pun intended, badass game, awesome racing arcade game, and the crash system is magnifico. That's it, guys. Get this one, because if you don't have it, you're missing out. Burnout 3. Don't not you want it? Next one up, a very unique adventure game. This one was created by Sony, developed and that would be Shadow of the Colossus. Now, they have done a remake since then. You guys can play that one, it doesn't matter. When this first came out though, oh my goodness, like, the kind of a Legend of Zelda feel. Nobody says a word, like as the main character and the monsters, and your job is literally to just scale these huge, furry, badass beasts. You fight like giant bisons or minotaurs or phoenixes, and like, it is fantastic. There is a grip system, and your job is to make sure you can get to these weak points and stab them with your sword. It sounds simple, but the first time you play this game, you're like, oh my god, what a kick-ass series. So Shadow of the Colossus has to be in my top 10 / top 14. I'm gonna forget where we're at. Let's go. I feel like this next one is a little bit of a cheat. And when I say cheat, it's because it's such a badass game. It's easily on most people's top 10s if they're PlayStation fanboys, and that would be the Uncharted games. Now, I have the Uncharted collection here. This has 1, 2, and 3. All of these games are incredible. You go from like a movie setting the entire time. My wife literally watched me play Uncharted from the time I started to the time I finished, because she felt like she was just watching this epic film sequence go down at all times. You're Nathan Drake, treasure hunter. Literally, that's the story, and then a bunch of bad, like, crime syndicate guys come after you because they want the treasure first. Indiana Jones, Tomb Raider, it's all the same story, but damn it, did Uncharted do it right? And this is all thanks to Naughty Dog. So, Uncharted, fabulous. Fabulous, fabulous. Whew, I'm getting winded here, so I'm so excited about this game. There have been many racers. I know I already had one on the list, and I'm not technically a huge racing fan, but in this instance, Disney and BlackRock Studios came out with this super unique racing game that I don't feel like gets enough love. There's so many people out there that I have talked to and they've never heard about this game, but if you're a Burnout series fan, if you love Blur, if you love anything that feels like a competitive arcade racer, Split Second is a kick-ass game. The cool mechanic in this one is that you get to blow up the environment around you to break down your opponents. Now, you can crash into them, but the coolest part is if you can blow something up next to them, part of the level, or a vehicle in front of them, it gives you these power-ups through the level. And I always thought that Split Second was cool because your HUD, where it gives you your mileage, your gas, and how fast you're going, is underneath the car, which I always thought was a really cool piece so that the rest of your screen doesn't get taken up with any mumbo-jumbo. Split Second, awesome. You guys get a chance, throw this guy in. I have always loved this game. When I think about a racer I can just go back to, it is this one. It has a cool level mechanic where a chopper comes and chases you and just shoots rockets at you the entire time as you're trying to survive. And I don't know, if I'm not selling it, then I'm really bad at selling this game. But it's so worth it to me. Split Second on the list. Fighting game fan. That's right, Pac-Man Case fighting game fan. I've talked about this tons of times. Doesn't really matter. I was never a Dreamcast kid. I never had a Dreamcast, but my best friend had a Dreamcast, and we would play the crap out of this game over and over and over again. And to this day, it still looks amazing. And that would be Soul Calibur. Oh man, when I think of some of the coolest characters, the smoothness of all of their special moves, a ring out, which is such a cool mechanic, at least in my eyes, Soul Calibur was where it was at for me. I, from this game, wanted to make sure I had every single Soul Calibur that was ever released since then, and to this day, I do, all in the collection because of this game. They originally came out with Soul Blade before Soul Calibur, but this hit. Those Dreamcast graphics are so beautiful that I've always loved going back to that game, and Soul Calibur I think will always be on my list for a really long time. And it should be on your list too. Next up, I have to talk about some games that are literally just based on my childhood nostalgia, but they still hold up to this day. This one I say might be a cop-out to some people, but it would be Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Now I say cop-out because it was already a pack-in title. A lot of people were forced to play this game anyway, but for me and my sister, oh my god, just throwing this in, we could remember every single track. first time you get to play as Tails, you both get to compete together. And yes, it was dog shit. It was hard to control Tails, and Sonic would just disappear on you. And you'd be like, you son of a bee. But at this point, I remember enjoying this so much with her, and I can go back and just have a blast playing this every single time. Scepter was hanging out with me on a live stream, so he can speak to it. We sat there and we played this game until almost the very end before my eyes got too tired and I had to shut it down. But it just showcases how awesome it is to come back to a video game just like this. So, thank you Sega and Sonic the Hedgehog 2 for making my list for so long, and probably until the day I die. Friends, this next one up, I'm not normally a big Mario guy on a top 10 list, but I do enjoy the Mario games. I have learned to grow and love and grow. Either way, I glove very often this game. I am to the point of coveting this Super Mario Bros. 2. It took a long time for me, but I finally beat it recently. I had never beat it. I don't know why. It was one of those games I played through like levels like 4 and 5, and then I would just put it down. I beat it recently, and no spoilers. You guys go check it out for the ending. But it's one of those things where if you take it back, you're just like, wow, what a unique game. Nintendo was in such a weird position to create this title, and it ended up being something that hit a lot of people in the right spot. And I'm one of those people. I think Super Mario Bros. 2 is the best Mario game ever created, and I would have loved if they would have kept some of the stuff from that going, especially selecting through characters and stuff through some of the other games. But for what it's worth, man, Super Mario Bros. 2 holds a place in my heart. I absolutely love it. I love it. Okay, last game. If you know me well enough, you know this was gonna be on the list. Even if you've seen my top one, you know I love this stuff very, very much. And that would be Street Fighter Alpha 2. This is the game that I rented when I was a kid over and over and over again. I don't even know how much my parents spent. They could have easily spent $300 renting this stupid game for me over and over and over again. But I didn't have a Saturn, I didn't have a PlayStation, all I had was a Super Nintendo. It was ported to it, and oh man, I've never fell in love with a Street Fighter game this hard. I played all the other ones before that, but when Alpha 2 came out, it blew my freaking mind. And ever since then, I have always loved this game. You know, Marvel vs. Capcom and all of those, they're so, so good. But this is the one that I had when I was a kid, and one that I just will always throw in. When I'm like, hey, I feel like playing a fighting game, I'll grab Street Fighter Alpha 2 and I'll throw it in. And this one's not even the best version. This one's like, it's super slowed down compared to the arcade port, but it doesn't matter. I throw it in, I have a good time, and I always enjoy it. So, that would be my last one on the list, guys. I think that was 10. I'm not even good at counting anymore. Pack Rats. That's my top 10 / top 20 / cheating because I already did something like this and didn't want to let anyone down. So at this point, I have to nominate 5 other people to do this challenge. I'm very, very late to the game, no pun intended. So at this point, I'm gonna throw these out there. If you've already been issued the challenge, just skip me and move on. But if this is something you wanna do, then do it and check it out. And I'll tag you and do all of the fun social media stuff and we'll make it happen. So first, Flips and Pips. Wolf, give me your top 10 games of all time, dude. Guys, go check out his channel. Fantastic dude. I'm pretty sure he's close to 4,000 subs, releasing videos nonstop all the time about all sorts of gaming topics. Go check out also, The 90s Are Rad. Andy over there does everything nostalgic driven. Andy, give me all of your top 10 games of all time. Next, I'm gonna throw it over to the Dirty Game Room. Mark, listen bud, we haven't chatted in a real long time, and you recently commented on a video, and it made me think of you, and I wanna know what your top 10 games of all time are, buddy. Next up is J-Love. What an awesome gal. If you guys have not checked her channel out, she does fantastic stuff. You probably knew her before you ever knew me, but Jen, please show me what your top 10 is. Unless you've already done this challenge, then just move along. Last but certainly not least, I'm gonna go up to the top of the food chain, big wig, my brother, Radical Reggie. Reggie, I know you're a busy dude. I don't know if you've actually done this list yet. You may have done it with Metal Jesus Rocks, but if you would give such a small channel like mine a little love and do this challenge for me. It would be awesome. Merry Christmas, my friend. And guys, enjoy the challenge as I did. And if you've already done a top 10, then do a top 20/11 through 20 thing. Guys, thanks so much for watching. If you like my silly content and you like what I got going on, please do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, come back and hang out with me whenever I release a video, which hopefully should be sooner than later, and I will catch you guys on the next time you ride the crazy train. See you later.